At a personal level, I think I would want to dwell more on the mode you know yourself, to grow yourself. And for me, that has been like really pertinent. Understanding, knowing what you are made of, to be able to work on some of your weaknesses that can make you a better person, especially looking at what the Johari window talks about. There are things that I didn't know about myself, but going through that experience or understanding who I am actually did help me understand myself better, but also be able to put a finger on some of those weaknesses that were actually very important for me to be able to transform to be a better leader. And so that translates into the organizational leadership and growing the organization, meaning I have been able to manage my people better because we've had the experiences of know your people to grow your people, know your money to grow your money. All those are things that if I had not been in grow, I may not have known. But transitioning from a personal level to an organizational level, or understanding what it could look like if you got to know yourself, I think it has been like what I would give an analogy of an egg and the chicken, you know, like what came first. But for me, with grow, it has been clear of what could come first, that you cannot give what you don't have. So you transform yourself, and your transformation ultimately will, be reflected in how you lead the organization that you lead. And so for me, that has been like the transition, moving from one state of me to the other state of me, and that has been reflected in how I lead at the organizational level. The changes I have experienced in Grow, for example, I had never ever believed that I'm a loud person. So people kept telling me, Scovia, you're too loud. I think sometimes you're rude and all these things. But going through the experience and the exercise of Johari window kind of helped me to actually, ask certain questions. And so those changes have enabled me, being able to look at something and say, okay, if Edna has said A, B, C, D, and like my friend has said the same thing, my staff have, complained about the same thing, maybe there is an element of truth in it. And being able to look at it in that spectacular and be able to say, okay, if this is the window, so how do I write these things down and how do I be able to, improve on them? And so that particular transformational change is what I'm looking at. And of course, it takes me back to the feminist principle of the personal is political. I think it made much more sense to me in Grow than in the feminist forums where I've been. And so we're discussing of, being in a crowd. But what Grow has done is single you out, puts you in a space to actually be able to look at you, the person, before it looks at someone else. And I think that's where the change is. And as long as, we look at that at a personal level, then it means that change will definitely happen. Because you can't give what you don't have. And you can't give from an empty cup anyway. Enormous. One of them is that our organization are the people. And I think that is the biggest lesson. It's not the building, it's not the address, it's not the emails, it's the people. And that if I am not growing as a person, the organization is not growing. So you take a decision to grow as a person, and the more you grow, the organization grows. And I think that is the most incredible lesson I have learned from Grow. Yeah. I can't wait for that time to come for me to actually be able to recommend. If I had an opportunity to replicate this somewhere, I would do the same. But I think I have been given that opportunity, that I can actually lead my team in the manner that I have been led from Grow, that I have been coached and helped to be the person that I am today. We're talking about a space of about 7 to 8 months now, but the changes are already visible. And so for anybody that gets an opportunity to be part of Grow, do not let it pass. I personally had it halt my studies, like academic studies, to be able to concentrate on Grow. That is how important, it meant to me that I can actually register a dead year to be able to attend, sessions of Grow. That's how much I would recommend it to someone. Leadership and any change you may want to put in the world begins with you. You grow yourself, you grow the world. You change yourself, you change yourself. You change the world. Change is you. And like I said before, I like that sentence. You can't give what you don't have, and you cannot pour from an empty cup. What you have is what you put out. Put in yourself what you want to see the world. And who is the world? It's you and I. Just to say thank you to the Grow team for putting us together and to keep doing this. I think a country like Uganda deserves a program like Grow. And I think if some of our political leaders really got an opportunity to go through Grow, some of the challenges we are having as a country would be put at halt. And so I would say that for those who are watching us from out there, including government, in ministries and all these stakeholders, they should take the opportunity of Grow, or actually borrow Grow ideas to be able to produce the best leaders this country and Africa in general needs.